It's a fact, for sure, McQuede persisted, trying to keep the teasing out of his voice. If you say her name 3 times, she'll appear, and bad things will follow. Yes, Dawson echoed. 3 calls and woe to you. Did you ever try it? Not brave enough. Midway across the bridge, Dawson stopped the car. But you are. I dare you, McQuede. Call her name 3 times, and let's see what happens. Dawson pressed the buttons that controlled the front side windows, and they slid open with an eerie mechanical sound that mingled with the noise of rushing water. A gust of wind from the canyon stirred their clothing and hair. Instead of waiting for McQuede, Dawson called out in a voice loud and clear, Mirabella! Mirabella! We're going to be late, he broke off suddenly, without finishing. He promptly checked his watch. Too late for this nonsense. Dawson, for the first time silent, stepped harder on the gas as they followed the twisting road. McQuede's friend always became too involved in these legends, so much so that they often became fixed in his mind as solid fact instead of mostly fiction. McQuede, noting the anxiety that had crept into the professor's manner, couldn't help smiling. On the outer edge of Black Mountain Pass, they passed the Cole County Museum. It looked shadowy as evening approached and dreadfully empty. McQuede was weary of driving by it and knowing Loris wasn't there, that she had left town quickly, appointing Dawson as her temporary replacement as curator. It had become his habit about this time of day to pull into the museum parking lot and go with Loris to the Shadow Mountain Inn, Black Mountain's quaint, romantic steakhouse. He was sick of facing long Sundays alone. In his line of work, McQuede had been shot and beaten. His doctor told him he had a high tolerance for pain. Physical, maybe, but not the mental sort that sprang from knowing the woman he loved was in Washington, D.C., co-authoring a book about Wyoming petroglyphs with his rival, the sophisticated Arden Reed. He had accepted Dawson's invitation, hoping company would placate his loneliness, and that Dawson's long, dry lecture would offer a much-needed distraction. For all of Dawson's concern about time, they arrived at the hall early. An expensive foreign car had just stopped in the circular driveway. A blonde woman, as efficient as a chauffeur, swept out and opened the passenger side door. At first, McQuede saw only long legs and watched as the rangy form inside seemed to unfold, rising to full height, looming far above the woman. Dawson drew in his breath. Can you believe this? Cole County's biggest celebrity. Didn't think we had any celebrities. Dawson waved his hand. It's been some time back. You're looking at Jim Royce, the famous star of the TV series Sam Bode, Wyoming Marshal. Tonight, we're seeing him in the flesh. Let's go over and welcome him. McQuede lagged behind Dawson, who greeted the actor with great gusto. He was, indeed, the pride of the county. Even though McQuede had never met him in person, he had grown up adulating him, watching the TV series and trying to be just like him. But over the years, the actor had slowly faded from the public scene. Jim Royce still stood, as tall and straight as a general, his craggy face as handsome as ever. The only signs of elapsing years were seen in the slight thickening of his body and in his abundant dark hair beginning to thread with gray. Jim Royce extended his hand to McQuede and after Dawson's introduction said, I hear good things about you. An appealing smile stretched his wide lips, and then he said lazily, And all the time I thought I was the bravest man in Cole County. He turned quickly to the woman. Sheriff, I would like you to meet my niece, Claire Abbott. Because she was thin and agile, McQuede had taken her for a girl, but she must be in her 40s. She didn't look anything like her uncle, with her small build and with blonde hair, cut close and short, as if in rebellion against the time it would take to curl or care for it properly. Can't drive because of my medication, Royce explained. That leaves me at my niece's mercy.